Hi YouTube, it's Joshua Miles and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is yet another episode in my Summer of True Crime series, and it's actually been made in collaboration with an amazing South African YouTuber called Mfundo. We actually covered a South African case over on her channel, so be sure to jump over to her channel and check out the case we did over there once you've finished with this video. I'd also like to say that we are currently, I think this is the 9th video in the Summer of True Crime series that I'm in, like the 9th one on my channel, and I believe there's not very many more to go. It's soon going to be over. We're coming into July now, so thank you everyone so much for sticking around and enjoying all the true crime content that we've all been putting out there for you. I'd also just like to make the quick announcement that you can now request a case to be covered on my channel by going to requestacase.com. That is requestacase.com. It is my own website, and there's a bunch of other true crime creators on there too that you can go request case from as well. So, like I said, if you want to request a case to be covered on my channel, then please go to requestacase.com. I find it very difficult to keep up with all the requests that are in comments and in my DMs, so send them on that website and I'll be sure to see them. I'd just like to point out this video has not been made to cause disrespect or anything like that. It's just been made to spread awareness about this case by compiling information from various different public sources on the internet. Now, with all that being said, let's delve right into this case. On the 2nd of November 2013, 23-year-old Allan Bryant Jr. put on his going out clothes and fixed his hair before leaving his family home. And his family home was on Edmund Drive, Glenrothes, Fife, Scotland, and he left at about 8 p.m. He met up with a few friends before walking the short distance from his house to an engagement party. It was his friend's engagement party, and this engagement party was being hosted at Leslie's Golf Club. Allan arrived there at about 9 p.m. and on all accounts he had a really good time celebrating the engagement with all of his friends. He genuinely was just having a really good fun time. But like all good parties do, the engagement party soon came to an end when at midnight the venue decided to start closing up. So Allan and a group of his friends got in a minibus, I believe, and drove the short distance from Leslie's Golf Club to Styx nightclub. Now, Styx nightclub was actually about a mile away from Allan's family home, which is about a 10-minute walk. And the nightclub itself wasn't actually that far away from where the engagement party was being hosted either, so the group and Allan all arrived shortly after midnight at the Styx nightclub. Now, Allan stayed with the group celebrating the engagement at the nightclub until 2:02 a.m. That is when he decided to leave the nightclub and walk in the direction of Tanshall roundabout. No trace of Allan has been found since. This is the curious case of Allan Bryant Jr.
Allan Bryant Jr. was born on Thursday, the 23rd of November, 1989, to parents Allan Bryant Sr. and Marie Deegan. On all accounts, he had a pretty regular and uneventful upbringing. It isn't public knowledge what he worked as, what he did for a living, but on all accounts, he was a overall happy and kind person. He wasn't the type of person that liked to go out clubbing all the time, but when he did go out, he always had a fun time with his friends. That was until 2 weeks prior to his disappearance, when on a night out, he was just messing around with his friends, having some fun, and he ended up accidentally smashing a shop window. Allan was in fact arrested and charged with vandalism for this incident, and he was due to show up in court just 2 days after he went missing. Now, it is important to note that throughout this case, throughout this investigation, there was rampant police incompetence. There was a lot of he said, she said, so for the purposes of this video, we're going to try to stick to the case facts as closely as possible. Allan Bryant Jr. and his father, Allan Bryant Sr., they had a pretty close relationship. They would often go fishing and go-karting over the weekends, just the general father-son activities. Throughout this case, Allan Bryant Sr. does make some pretty big claims and suggestions, most of which are hearsay. And one such suggestion is that on the night that Allan smashed the shop window, the night of his vandalism, He was last seen with a group of people with links to organized crime, something that we'll delve a little bit deeper into later in this video. In the immediate aftermath of Allan's disappearance, extensive searches and public appeals were carried out by both the police and Allan's family. However, all of these were unfortunately to no avail.
When Allan was last seen, he had been wearing a t-shirt with 3 different bands of colour. Navy on top, grey in the middle and white on the bottom. He'd also been wearing dark coloured denim jeans and grey leather plimsolls. On the 8th of November 2013, 5 days after Allan went missing, the police finally decided to go to Styx nightclub and collect the CCTV footage from the night that Allan went missing. Let me repeat that, it took them 5 days to go and collect this footage and make the request. They had also gone and requested CCTV footage from the surrounding shops, pubs and other clubs in the area. However, because 5 days had passed since the event, they weren't able to get much. A lot of the CCTV cameras had overwritten on their memory. Now, if you're not familiar with how a CCTV camera system generally works, a CCTV camera continuously records to a hard drive or a tape, and usually after about 48 hours of continuous recording, the CCTV camera will run out of memory. It'll run out of either tape or hard drive space. So what the system generally does is it will go back to the start and start recording from there again, overwriting the footage that was recorded 48 hours ago. That means that the CCTV surveillance system will only ever have a continuous recording of the previous 48 hours, and that's it. Nothing else. You can't go any further back. Because it took the police 5 days to request this CCTV footage, the police actually lost valuable CCTV surveillance images that could have helped locate Allan. And even when they did send police officers to collect the CCTV surveillance images, they sent officers that were not trained technically to be able to retrieve the CCTV footage. That further meant that potential vital evidence could have been lost. Fortunately, the Styx nightclub CCTV surveillance system was set up to not record over itself until 7 days had passed. It was on all accounts a more expensive system because generally the more expensive the system, the bigger storage space it has. We're going to be coming back to this CCTV footage that was collected from the Styx nightclub later in this case. It is really important to note that the CCTV footage that the police did manage to retrieve from the surrounding area didn't picture Allan on it at all. He couldn't be seen. It is as if he had left the Styx nightclub and vanished into thin air. Now, on November 10th, 2013, the police had decided to send an incident support van to go outside of the nightclub to try and jog nightclub goers' memories of the week prior. And that was in the hopes that somebody might remember something that could aid in locating Allan. However, this incident support vehicle actually broke down on the way to the nightclub, and the police neglected to send another one. And they neglected to even just have a heavier police presence so that they could ask nightclub goers questions or try and hand out missing persons flyers or anything that you'd, generally do when a person goes missing. The police effectively did nothing in an attempt to try and get people to come forward with any information they may have in relation to Allan's disappearance. And let me tell you now that Allan Bryant Sr., Allan's dad, was not happy about this in the slightest. He actually took to social media the day after, on the 11th of November, and heavily criticized the local police force. And that was because the local police force had actually failed in keeping their promises to the family. They had promised the family that there would be an incident support vehicle there and that there would be a heavier police presence, but neither of those came to fruition. That didn't happen. And sadly for Allan Bryant Jr.'s family, the police incompetence in this case is only going to get worse.
Closely following Allan Bryant's disappearance, police had told his family that they would give assistance in terms of organizing ground searches. However, this was not the case, and the family had to arrange mass ground searches by themselves with assistance from family members, friends, the public, their community, with absolutely no help from the police. On the 11th of November 2013, The same day that Allan Bryant Sr. had criticized police on social media, the family began to distribute over 50,000 missing persons poster in the Glen Roads area in a desperate attempt for information about their missing son. I suppose the social media scrutiny as well as the public scrutiny finally managed to get the police into gear and get their act together, because the very next day, on the 12th of November, teams of police from across Fife and central Scotland were brought in to aid in searching fields and woodlands in the Glen Roads area. 2 days later, on the 14th of November, police also brought in police divers to search ponds and rivers in the area. However, police neglected to inform Allan's family that they were even searching bodies of water, and this caused the family to understandably go into a state of panic, because they thought that obviously the police had found something to warrant such searches. In fact, the family had been informed by members of the public that the police were searching bodies of water. This information should have come directly from the police. And this further added to the distress. No new evidence was found as a result of these searches.
It wasn't until May of 2014 that the local police force actually decided to release the CCTV images of Allan Bryant Jr. in the nightclub, leaving the nightclub on the night he disappeared, to the public. It took them all that time to release that CCTV footage to the public, which is absolutely ridiculous to me, because this footage could have easily jogged somebody's memory if it was released in the immediate days following Allan's disappearance, but that didn't happen. Now, not only did the police fail to provide an actual reason for why it took them so long to release this CCTV footage, the footage has also been edited. It had been cropped and cut down. The footage, which I'll show on screen now, depicts Allan walking through the foyer of the nightclub by himself. He briefly speaks to the doorman before heading out the door. You can see that Allan is actually quite unsteady on his feet, and as a result of the celebratory alcohol he'd been consuming that day, you can see that he almost falls backwards down the stairs, although I have to say that quite a few people believe that he was actually shoved down the stairs by someone, but I can't quite see that in this footage. You can see it was a very busy night, and there were plenty of people that would have seen Allan leaving the club. The CCTV footage then abruptly ends just before a police car pulls into the shot. Now, Allan Bryant Sr., who has seen the CCTV footage in its entirety, claims that after this public release footage stops and ends, a police car actually pulls into the shot. According to Allan Bryant Sr., 2 police officers actually got out of that police car, and they had come to the nightclub to tell people to quieten down and to move people along. Now, these 2 police officers then apparently and reportedly spoke to Allan Bryant Jr., which completely contradicts the official police statement that this CCTV footage is the last known sighting of Allan Bryant Jr. Now, whether this is true or not, and what you infer from this, is completely down to you. I don't want to speculate or perpetrate a theory based almost solely on hearsay. But that report's coming from Allan's own father, somebody who he was very close with, and the police incompetence from the very start of this case, something just doesn't quite add up for me.
Allan's family were sadly the target of a troll on social media, and this honestly makes me so mad. I'm not going to mention the name of this evil human being out of respect for Allan and his family. But this person went on social media and he stated that he had done horrible things to Allan, and he had tormented him and caused Allan to suffer before getting rid of him. I don't understand why people feel the need to attack a family that is already going through so much. What possesses them to put a family through further distress, to cause a family further harm and further sadness, and in some cases even give them the hope of closure just for their own sick satisfaction? Oftentimes families of missing persons or of an individual where something tragic has happened to them, any and all information, they take it very seriously, and it's no different in this case. Allan's family took this information very seriously. They in fact reported it to police because they truly believed these claims and these allegations. Lo and behold, the police actually did some investigating this time around. But unfortunately, or technically fortunately, they found these allegations to be false, that these messages were all just false information leading them on a wild goose chase. The intent of these messages was purely to upset Allan's family. Luckily, the police did end up tracking down the troll and identifying who it was. This person was put in jail for 10 months. In my opinion, 10 months is not long enough at all. There should have been a steeper sentence, because what these little pranks and jokes do is they slow down an investigation. Instead of following real leads, tracking down real suspects, police are sent on a wild goose chase. Resources are shunted away from the investigation just for someone to pull a stupid little prank. Another reason that I say that 10 months is not enough is oftentimes these trolls, they get satisfaction out of being caught. It's like, oh, I get put in the limelight for such a big case, so they become repeat offenders. That's exactly what happened in this case. Just days after his release, this troll was back at it again and started messaging Allan's family. And once again, he was put in jail, this time for only 8 months.
On the 9th of August 2015, the police announced that they had discovered skeletal remains at an address in Riverside Park, Glenrothes. However, it was soon determined that these remains were not that of Allan Bryant Jr. Then, 2 years later, on the 16th of July 2017, the police actually conducted a very deep and thorough search of a property in Glenrothes. And this was a residential property that they searched for 4 weeks straight. Again, no evidence or traces of Allan were found. On the 26th of July 2018, the police actually conducted a search of a river. And this is River Leven, which is in Fife, and they actually only searched it for 2 hours before the divers resurfaced and they called off the search. No evidence was found during this river search either. Now, there are a lot of theories in this case that you can find on the internet that are very, very wild and quite out there. Some of which suggest the potential involvement of travelers, human, even modern. But there are 2 prime theories circulating this case, both of which Allan's own parents actually believed at some point. Now, the first theory actually links back to when Allan broke a shop window 2 weeks prior to his disappearance. It is actually theorized that the group of people that Allan had been with that night had actually been part of an organized crime group, and that Allan had potentially exposing information about this organized crime group that he could bring to court and tell the court on his court date, which was 2 days after he went missing. The theory then goes on to say that this organized crime group took advantage of Allan in his very drunk and disoriented state and effectively got rid of him. I personally find it really, really odd that Allan had gone with his friends to this engagement party, been with all his friends at this engagement party, then got in a minibus with his friends to the nightclub, and then left alone. He didn't even leave with a single person. It isn't publicly known what the group said that were with him on the night that he disappeared, but why would you just leave your friend to go alone if they're in a drunk state? That's just really, really strange to me, because at least in my friend groups, we wouldn't ever leave somebody to walk home alone, especially if they're drunk. We at least see them to the taxi to take them home. Now, Allan had actually left his jacket at the venue of the engagement party, which means he had no warm clothes at all. And in this jacket, he had reportedly also left his wallet, which had his money in. He had no way to keep himself warm in the winter, and he also didn't have a mobile phone. He had actually broken his mobile phone 2 weeks prior to his disappearance. Whether he had himself broken the mobile phone or the group that had been with him when he had accidentally broken that shop window had broken the mobile phone to destroy any evidence, that's unknown. Perhaps this phone had been destroyed due to a photo or video or even text evidence on it that could have been used to prosecute the organized crime group or expose them further. So the group destroyed the mobile phone and then eliminated Allan. But again, this is just a theory. Now, the next theory is that Allan had actually left the nightclub and gone to a house party. And when he got to this house party, something had gone really very, very wrong, and a fight broke out, and Allan had been severely injured and unfortunately succumbed to those injuries. It is theorized that Allan's remains were then dumped either in a river or a nearby ditch. Police actually investigated this theory, but they found no evidence to support it, and I believe they actually searched that residential property for that 4 weeks on account of this theory, and then even the river on account of this theory, but again, they found no evidence to confirm it. It seemed as if Allan left the club and then vanished into thin air. In my personal opinion, this case is so... I really don't know. This case really stumps me. I think there's a lot of circumstantial evidence and there's a lot of hearsay, but there's really nothing concrete to point to where Allan is. No trace of Allan has been found since. Like I say with all of my cases, I do encourage that you go and do your own research into this case, and let me know your theories down below.
In my opinion, since it's been so long since Allan went missing, I unfortunately do believe that he is no longer with us. I do, however, hope that some closure is brought to the family. I hope that they can recover his body, recover his remains, so that they can have some form of closure, so they can really say a proper goodbye. I feel like at every single point in this investigation, police were purposely trying to sabotage the investigation. First of all, it took them 5 days to send out requests for CCTV footage. 5 days. Anybody knows that the first 48 hours of a missing persons investigation are absolutely crucial. They are absolutely vital. They didn't send out a second support van to the Styx nightclub when the first one broke down. Why would they not do this? This is just clear evidence that the police didn't care about this family. The police didn't care about Allan. As a result of their incompetence, of their poor police work, Allan's family is left without a son. I am not too inclined to believe that this was in any way gang related, simply because Allan didn't have a shoddy past. He didn't have anything in his history to suggest that this would be gang related, other than the claim from his father that the night of the incident he was seen with people with links to organized crime. And I just think that he was at the wrong place at the wrong time, and this world is full of people with ill intentions. So I think that's what happened to him, that he just met someone with very bad intentions and he lost his life as a result.
And that is everything that we have for you in today's case. Thank you so much for watching this episode in my Summer of True Crime series. I'd just like to say thank you again to Mafundo for coming and helping me out on this video. And don't forget to jump over to her channel and check out the video and the case that we did over there. Don't forget to like this video if you found it interesting. Leave a comment down below telling me what you thought of this case. Subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can be notified every single time that I post. And if you're a mobile user, make sure you click all notifications so you get all the notifications for when I post. And with all that being said, I will see you in the next case.
If you hadn't run away every time I asked you stay, you would sleep right next to me.